Good afternoon. It is Friday. I was originally not sure if I was going to get this episode out at a decent time because I have not been feeling the best. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice, so apologies for that. But I did want to go ahead and record and just get this out because there is so much content that I need to put out. It's actually kind of crazy. Top 100 fantasy assets is going to hopefully be coming out sooner rather than later. We need to talk about league rankings. We need to talk about the draft that just happened and is still ongoing right now. So much has happened. I mean, the league news today is going to be crazy. I actually have to have like an entire list of them. And then, do you guys understand how many trades have happened? There have been 47 trades that have happened in the last 2 weeks. That is an average of almost what is that? That's 14 days. It's like 3 a day. Like just a little bit more than 3 trades a day, which is crazy. I'm not going to say every one of them is going to be league changing. There were a couple that were really, really big. But for the most part, they were, you know how it is. Okay, so first off, thank you guys for watching. We have well, let's just go ahead and get into it. I don't want to waste time because this episode is probably going to be like at least an hour, maybe more than that, because I have to review all of these trades. But then I also want to talk about the fantasy impact of a lot of the league news because there's a bunch of league news today. So let's just go ahead and get into it. For starters, we have had 5 trades. I did see one more trade that went through today that I'll talk about. I'll talk about that one and go in increasing order. So we have Isaiah Joe being traded. Not really big deal. I think it was 2 second-round picks that he got traded for, so not really a big deal. Aaron, it was Isaiah. No, was it Wiggins? I think it was Wiggins that got traded for some second-round picks as well, which I kind of get that. The Thunder are just trying to offload some of the cap space. I'm assuming they don't want to go into the second apron or want to try to get out of it because they probably don't want to pay too much of the additional tax, which I get because it's like hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's go ahead and get to the big trades that have happened. So Julius Randle has been traded from the Timberwolves, and he is now a Brooklyn Net. And what cracks me up is they had to move down, I think, 4 spots in the draft in order to offload Randle. That's crazy. That's insanity. I can't even begin to describe how unhappy this made me because he's not a bad player. In fact, he's a very good player in the league right now. I'm not going to call him a top 50 player. Like, I think there's better players in the league. He could be top 50, actually. Like, let's make the list and figure that out. But he's not a bad player. And everybody's kind of just treating him like, oh, yeah, we got to salary dump him. We got to get rid of him. He's so bad. He was a crucial part as to how they even made it out of the first round. I'm not going to stand here and say, yeah, they should have just salary dumped him and gotten rid of him. Do I think that there was a better move to be made? Yes. That's my actual issue with this. I don't think he was bad. I think they could have gotten more. You're really trying to tell me that you had to salary dump him to get rid of him? Really? I just think that when you do a move like that, you burn a lot of assets. Because that was Karl Anthony Towns. Julius Randle is Karl Anthony Towns on this team. That was the investment. You traded away Karl Anthony Towns to bring this guy onto your team, and now you're salary dumping him just a few years later. That's a really, really bad way to make that move. Not a big fan of it personally, so I don't like that. I really wish that they had done something different. I love this for the Bulls, though, because they sent Julius Randle to the Nets, and then the Bulls literally got Nick Claxton from the Nets for free because they didn't want to take on the extra cap, which, fine. If you're a Bulls fan, you have to just, you have to be in heaven during this offseason. You got the number 4 pick in the draft. You jumped up to get that pick. You just got Nick Claxton for free. Everything good is happening to the Bulls right now, and I'm all for it. I can't wait to see. I think it's gonna be so much fun. Next we have. Well, I'll just go ahead and get to the other Timberwolves trade. They traded for LaMelo. I I want to be I want to be a fly on the wall in that meeting when they're talking to Anthony Edwards and they said, "All right, Ant, you told us you want to contend. You really want to get at it and you want to make sure that we're contending every single year. And we want to make you happy. So guess what? We traded for a star player, a star guard, actually." And I'm sure Ant was just ecstatic, like, "Oh my goodness, they're finally listening to me. They're doing what I asked them to." Like, who'd you get me? Like a good passer, good play finisher. Yeah, we got you LaMelo Ball. Excuse me? You wanted to pair the most unserious guard in the league with Anthony Edwards. Okay, not my team. Not my team. I don't really like that. I get the Ant is a little unserious, especially during the regular season, but he locks in. He wants to win those games. He wants to contend. The floor raiser you get for your team is LaMelo Ball. Now look, he's a great passer, and I actually do think his fit on the Timberwolves, I've been a little bit harsh. I think the fit is there. I don't think it's so crazy. I don't like what they gave up. 3 first-round pick swaps, a first-round pick, I think 3 second-round picks, and what else did they... Oh, yeah, Naz Reid. So their power forward, they need a power forward. By the way, the reason that they dumped Julius Randle was to re-sign Ayo Dosunmu, who, because LaMelo is coming, is not going to start. So you're probably paying the guy like $21 million a year to be your sixth man. Ugh, that kind of hurts. Personally, I don't like that move. That's just me. I think that they are going to be. I don't think that they're going to be as good of a team. I don't even know if LaMelo's going to stay healthy. You got to pray that that medical staff, the Timberwolves medical staff, is a lot better than the Hornets, because the man hasn't played more than 60 games in a hot minute. So I guess we'll find out. And then the last trade is the Giannis trade. I don't even have to say much about this. It was going to happen. They gave up everything, though. Jaime Hawkins, Tyler Hero, Kello Ware, every first-round pick that they had. I mean, just they gave up everything. And I got to be honest. I love this for the Bulls, or the Bucks. I think that their draft picks as well with Braden Burries and Nate Ament. I mean, they've got a young core. And surely one of these guys is going to turn out. I think Kello Ware is going to be pretty good. Tyler Hero, maybe he finally has a rebound in his career and he kind of hits that ceiling that we all hoped he would. Just injuries have robbed him of that. So maybe he'll end up turning out like that. I don't 100% know. Jaime Hawkins, like, they got a really great player. He could start. I mean, he averaged 15 off the bench last year. So I kind of hope that they do start him because he kind of deserves it. Yeah, I think that's all the league news this year, or this week. The fantasy league news, we don't have too much. The draft has started. A lot of the top picks are already in, so they're pretty locked down already. There were a couple surprises, actually. Yaxel, I think, went 9, but I'll do an actual video on all the draft picks, and I'll rate them myself, and I'll kind of do a deep dive as to why each team picked who they did. And that'll be really, really interesting. But for right now, we don't really have to talk about that because that's neither here nor there. We don't have any news as to like new rules or really crazy stuff happening. I might make a video here soon talking about the balance of the league because I think the league is healing. I was really skeptical at first when we did the redraft that it was just going to go back to how it was before. It's kind of doing okay. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna have to admit that I was wrong. But yeah, that's okay because I mean, honestly, it's just fine. But yeah, as I said at the beginning of the episode, now we get to the big segment of this episode, and it is going to probably take a while to talk about because there are 47 trades that we have to go over. Let me say that again, 47 trades. Even if I spent 1 minute on each trade, which I'm not going to, it's probably going to be a couple of minutes, on, especially the bigger ones. Like this episode is easily going to be an hour. So let's take a breather. Let's take a break. Deep breaths. And I guess we're just going to go ahead and get into trade reviewing the last 2 weeks worth of trades. A lot of these trades were very, very good. So I have to be honest, I was very pleasantly surprised when I saw a lot of these trades because, as you all well know, I have a series out called You're a Bad Trader and I Can Prove It. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. I was going to post the last episode of it. I have not been able to. It's not overly important for the whole series though, so it kind of is fine for right now to not have like that concluding episode. But that will be out hopefully next week, so be on the lookout for that. A lot of these trades, I feel like people are watching that series, and please go watch that series because a lot of these trades are very good, very well thought out, very methodical, and I'm a fan of them. I am. I really am. So let's go ahead and get into these trades. Okay. So our first trade is with Josh and Coop. Josh is getting Pascal Siakam, Sadiq Bey, and 1.29. He's sending away Klay Thompson, Ivica Zubac, and Keegan Murray. Now, this is tough. I like this trade, though. And here's why. So, Josh does not need center play. He really needed wings, and he really needed just a little bit more pick depth, to be honest. So I really like this. I think he ended up moving 1.29 later as well. So I don't remember what the whole haul was for Zubac, but I like this. I think Siakam, though, is aging just a little bit. So I think Siakam and Zubac is pretty fair, although Tyrese Halliburton loves to Zubac. I think it's going to be really, really great. I think Keegan Murray is definitely better than Sadiq Bey, though. But his injury history and just his kind of unreliability does, to me at least, put them kind of on the same playing field. But I say that, but even Keegan Murray, he doesn't really have like we talk about him like he's been injured every single year. Last year was his only injured year of his career. Like it's a pretty safe bet that he's going to be just fine. So I kind of think I have to go back on that a little bit, actually. So maybe I would prefer Keegan Murray over Sadiq Bey just because I think that he's probably going to be fine. I don't think Josh loses this. I think it's a perfectly fair trade. I think the edge is probably slided a little bit more towards Coop, but there's good pros on both sides, and it fits both of their teams very, very well. So I'm going to give this an A because I think this is a fantastic trade, and I think it's a good trade for both of them. Like, nobody expressly loses the trade, and nobody really expressly wins it. They both win it in their own regard. So, good trade. You'd love to see it. All right. All right, next we have a trade with Caden and Henry. And oh man. This is a good trade, just not for Henry. And here's why it's a good trade. So, for one, he's trading 1.10. Let's be mindful. 1.10. This is a very good draft class. Very, very good. I don't know if you're going to get a guy at 1.10 that is going to equal Jimmy Butler, Dennis Jenkins, Dylan Cardwell, who, by the way, was one of the more promising rookies last year, and a first-round pick. Because you can flip Jimmy Butler for probably 2 first-round picks. Dylan Cardwell, you might be able to get a couple of seconds, maybe a first. I don't know if anybody would pay a first for him. Not 100% sure. So, I mean, that would put the total haul at like Dennis Jenkins, Dylan Cardwell, and 3 first-round picks for 1.10, which is clearly a win for Caden. I know Jimmy Butler is like old and aging, and he's coming off an ACL, so we'll see if he's even any good anymore. But I think asset-wise, this was also very good for Caden because he needed to kind of enter the rebuild, finally fully commit to it. So I gotta like it. I gotta like it. I don't see a reason why not to like this trade. I don't like it for Henry. First off, I don't understand why he's giving up everything, like absolutely selling his soul for 1.10. I don't know if there's a guy that he just really, really wants. Did he end up drafting with that pick? Because I can see that now because we have started the draft, and because of that, I actually might be able to see if he's drafted with it. Because if he did draft with it, then that's a little bit more justified. Oh, interesting. He actually traded up with that pick. Also, holy cow, Braden Burries fell so far. Yeah, so I gotta be honest, I don't know if I like this for Henry. I'll have to examine this after we see when he traded up. So we'll get to that in just a second. Sorry, guys, my nose is absolutely killing me. So now we're going on to the next trade, and this is where I actually have to say maybe Henry's smarter than I am, because he absolutely fleeced Coop. If I had been online to see this trade, I would have asked for a veto. This is insanity. 1.10 for Franz Wagner. Now look, absolutely, injuries are terrible. Franz is one of the most injury-prone guys in the league. For 1.10? 1.10. I would have been okay with it if it was like 107, which, by the way, you can see in that screenshot. Do you know what 1.10 ended up being? Nate Ament. You're trying to tell me you traded Franz Wagner for Nate Ament? I'm unhappy that it's 1.10. I would have been less unhappy if that pick was Braden Burries or like Morris Johnson or like a really solid guy at 1.10, whoever was available. Nate Ament for Franz? I don't know if I'm just low on him and everybody else is like super duper high. This does not move me like at all. I think this is a terrible trade. Coop absolutely getting fleeced. Maybe, again, Henry is just much smarter than me and knew that 1.10, if he traded everything he did in the last trade and just went to go get Franz, very, very fair. It just is not any good. Maybe he knew that Coop wanted 1.10 and that's just what ended up being. But I have no idea. Anyway, I don't like this. So, next. Oh, yes, this is the 4-team trade. So this is actually such an interesting trade. So here's kind of the thing. So Josh sent off the 1.24 and the Atlanta Hawks first and 28. He got Najee Marshall and Derek Lively. T got Stephon Castle, and he sent away Najee Marshall, Jacques Landell, Derek Lively, 2.14, and what is Jim's first round pick. And that's actually the really, really good thing that he got back, because otherwise it really would have been just a fleece. Like, T would have just lost this trade if it wasn't for or T would have just been fleecing everyone if it wasn't for the what is Jim pick. Because that pick is probably going to be decent, actually. I kind of think it's going to be a lot better than people think it is. And then Jim sent off Denny, and this is the reason that pick is actually going to be so good. He sent off Denny. He got his own first round pick back, so kudos. And he got Melbourne's first, which isn't going to be very good. And then Mel got Denny, and he only gave up Stephon Castle in his first round pick, and he got Denny. So I think this is the order that I would probably give the winners. I think Josh is kind of irrelevant. He sent off 2 first round picks for like bench depth, with just a little bit of upside with Derek Lively, so fine. I'm not even going to really count him. I think T is probably 1. I really like what he got. I think 2 has to be Mel. Actually, no, Mel has to be 1. 2 is T, and then 3 is Jim. The only reason I put Jim at 3 is just because I don't think those picks are going to be very good besides his own. So maybe he just gets a top pick next year in exchange for just a rebuild. So I kind of like it, I guess. But man, that's hard to see. Yeah, I mean, it's a good trade. It's a fair trade. I think I would have liked to have seen maybe a different move. Like, I feel like the 4 team was maybe just a little bit pushed because he really wanted that first back, and that just ended up being the only way to move those assets around. But I really think if I was Jim, I probably would have just tried to talk to T and tried to get his first round pick back in a way that wasn't so spaced out, because I think he would have gotten more. I think he could have gotten his first and like a couple other assets besides those 2 bad firsts. But it was a good rebuilding move, and I don't really have any hate for it. More just a preference thing. So, all around, good. A trade. All right, next we have Caden and Ali. So, Caden traded for 1.12, drafted LeBaron Phylon. And then he sent off Bub and 1.15. I'm kind of low on Bub at this point, especially with Trey there and Debansa and Keshawn George. Like, I think Bub is about to fall out of the rotation, to be honest. So I kind of think that there's just enough upside where it probably equals that 3-pick jump. And who did Dan end up picking? Because I'm also kind of high on LeBaron. I kind of like him. Let's see. Ali ended up taking... Never mind. He ended up trading away the pick. So, never mind. 1.15 did end up being Dalen Swain, though. So, that's not bad. I think I would have preferred LeBaron Phylon over those 2, but I mean, it's a fine trade. It was a good move. All right, 1.27 for Rob Dillingham. I've got to be honest, I kind of think Rob is turning into a bad asset to have. Like, you used to be able to like throw Rob in a deal and just be like, oh, he's like the upside guy. Like, you know, he's going to have a bounce back year. And now you're barely getting 1.27 for Rob. That's a fall off. That's a really hard fall off. This is why you have to be so careful with when you buy and sell players. And this is how a bad team can actually quickly turn into a good team. You buy low on some of these like really bad looking players. You either wait for them to have a rebound or wait for their stock to go back up, and then you sell them. First round picks, better assets, stuff like that. That's how you become a better team when you're just a terrible team. Like, any team can become a better team just by making the right bets. So, I mean, this is fine. I think Jim is actually a team that needed Rob, like just a really, like a spark plug guy that could rebound. So I kind of don't even hate this for him. I kind of just hate that Rob is moving at all. So, good return for Josh, and definitely a good upside maybe player for Jim. And clearly he didn't want to draft 1.27, so I don't hate it. It's fine. So yeah, I'd give this an A. It's fine. It's what they both need. I think it's just more obnoxious to see Rob moving at all. So, all right. Next we have Ali. Oh yes, this is right. So Ali traded the 1.15 for 1.14. He moved Jordan Hawkins, and Ali did actually end up drafting at 1.14, and he got Braden Burries, which I think is so awesome. I can't believe he fell to 1.14. So kudos to him. Yeah, he gave up Jordan Hawkins. And who ended up... oh, that's right. Dalen Swain got drafted at 1.15. So if you're telling me Dalen Swain and Jordan Hawkins gets me Braden Burries, who probably should have been higher in this draft. I actually can't believe that Braden fell so low. That's why I can't wait to do my draft video. This is kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. This is kind of crazy. I love Ali's side. Ali wins this trade for sure. I understand why Mel did that. Maybe get a little bit of bench depth and a potential guy with Dalen Swain. I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. Ali wins for sure. I kind of wish Mel hadn't done it, but I understand why. So I'm going to give this a C. It's an A for Ali for sure, but just a C overall because I think the value of Braden Burries is so underrated right now. So kind of want to see more trades with... I might go trade for Braden Burries, to be honest with you. I can't believe he fell to 14. This is just a fleece. I can't believe this happened. So T got Jaden McDaniels and sent 1.17 out. I don't understand. So this happened during the draft. I understand why it happened the way it did. I hate this so much. This shouldn't have happened. If I had been around when this trade was going on, I would have called for a veto. This is just not a good trade. This is just getting fleeced for 1.17. And he drafted Chris Sinak with 1.17. I actually like that pick even. Like, that's not a bad pick. And the ceiling is actually probably pretty good. Like, he could probably be a top 70 to 80 fantasy asset one day. Like, I'm not at all saying that it's just impossible that anything comes of it. I kind of just wanted to see... I mean, we're talking about Jaden McDaniels, especially with the role that he's probably taking on now that Julius Randle has been moved. I just really think that wasn't the move. I think Jaden McDaniels is, like, value-wise, is just skyrocketing right now. Julius Randle isn't there. You bring in a great ball handler. He can move to, like, a catch-and-shoot guy. J-Mac is about to become one of the most tradable assets in the league right now. Especially contractually wise, he's great. If he gets a really solid extension from whatever team has him right now, he's going to be a great fantasy asset. So I kind of don't like this. Chris Sinak was probably the only pick that I would look at and say, okay, fine, I guess. Maybe that's just his guy. Like, I don't know. I don't like this trade for him really, but it's still a fleece. T wins, obviously, but maybe Chris Sinak ends up turning into, like, the guy, and in that case, maybe it's a little bit better, but for right now, I don't like it. So, probably a D. All right, we have 1.19 for Derek Lively. Fine. Well, let me actually review it, I guess. It really is just fine. Like, Derek Lively has, like, this... He's got such this weird mix of, like, he could be really good, but he could also be, like, injury-prone to the extent that he's unplayable. So, like, I really don't know what he ends up being. Like, it could be kind of anything. I could kind of see 1.19 being worth Derek Lively, but on a personal level, with Derek Lively, he used to go for like 1 to 2 first-round picks. So I think I would have held him and tried to see if his value went up. I don't really know why Josh did this, to be honest with you. I think it's fine. It's fine. But on a personal level, I just don't think it's as worthwhile. So let's go ahead and go to the next. Sorry, I had to sneeze. If you guys see the recording pause and then resume, that's where I've had to pause it to sneeze. So, apologies. So, next we have 1.24 for Atlanta's first and 3 seconds. To be honest, this is fine. It's fine. Atlanta, I think, is probably going to be a very good team next year. So I kind of think that he's definitely he won't be a lottery. So I think it's fine, especially if there's a guy this year that he just really wanted. I think it's fine that he sent away his own pick. I think he probably could have done without one of the second round picks, though. Yeah, I think I would have kept my second round pick if I was Hawks, and then tried to go from there. So like just his first and 2 second round picks, but it's a fine trade. So Brandon Williams and 3 second round picks to, or Brandon Williams for 3 second round picks. Okay, I guess his value would be up if Kyrie was gonna be gone, but he's probably not gonna be moved, so I kind of don't like this. I think it's just kind of fine. It it just kind of is what it is. I think Brandon Williams is going to be a regressing asset, though. I'm not sure I would have traded away those second round picks for him, or at least not 3 of them. Probably only 2, if I'm just being honest. So probably a C. Like, it's a fine trade. I don't think that it matters too much, grand scheme of things, but I think I would have, for an asset like Brandon Williams, I probably wouldn't have given as much. But good trade for Slayer for sure. Hawks, he went 1.18. Christian Anderson, he drafted with that pick, if I remember correctly. He gave up Cam Whitmore, Devin Carter, and a second and 1.24. I forgot about this. So he actually upgraded from 1.24 with, I mean, let's be honest, basically 3 second round picks. I kind of wish he hadn't given up Devin Carter because I think he's a little underrated. I think his depth value is actually trending up. So on a personal level, I'm not sure I would have kept Devin Carter, but that's just me. I do think maybe moving up 6 spots should have been a little more expensive. Now, drafting Christian Anderson, I think, is actually the crazy part. I think that there was better talent on the board. Sorry, guys. Yeah, but I think there was some better talent on the board, so I'm not sure I would have taken Christian Anderson at 1.18. And I think it would have cost a little bit more to move up, so probably a bad trade for Slayer. He probably just got enticed by all the players. But yeah, I probably wouldn't have done this myself. It's not league moving. This was definitely good for Atlanta. Yeah, it does. It doesn't matter too much. I'd probably give this a C. So, Caden, he moved Brandon Williams in 1.18 to Slayer for 1.15. People are going to say this is an overreaction. I think this is a fleece. Brandon Williams is basically 3 second round picks, and for who you get at 1.15, which is Dalen Swain, by the way, that's who was drafted. I forget who was 1.18. Has that been drafted yet? It might not be. But I think Dalen Swain is very, very good, and especially on that Bulls team that kind of needed him. This is good. This is good. This is very good for Caden. And I think Brandon Williams and 1.18 are going to be out of the league a lot faster than Dalen Swain. So, yeah, good pick, especially for a rebuilding team like Caden. So, good job. Okay, I'm not gonna be that guy who just looks at a trade for 3 seconds and it's just like, yeah, it's whatever. This is the most whatever trade possible. Clay's getting old. He's going to be out of the league in 2-3 years at the most. Jordan Poole is they're having a race to see who's out of the league first, and really whoever wins this trade is just going to be whoever's player doesn't leave the league first. Poole could have a resurgence, I guess, so I guess I would probably go towards Coop in this trade. But really, these are just salary pieces. I wouldn't be trading for these guys unless I desperately needed them to fill some salary. So, I mean, fair enough, but personally, I probably it's whatever. I really don't have anything else to say, but it's whatever. It really is just whatever. It's a fine trade, I guess. I guess it doesn't even matter, to be honest with you. There's nothing interesting about this trade besides maybe a Jordan Poole resurgence, but we all know that's not happening. So yeah, it's whatever. All right, this one is interesting. Freddie is sending away 1.10, getting 2 first-round picks, Scottie Pippen, and 3 second-round picks. And you know what's funny? Freddie somehow loses this, and I'll tell you why. So first off, 1.10, I think ended up being Nate Ament. Because people go off the pre-draft mocks when they do their drafting, and I don't know why. But I'll just talk about 1.10 as it is, not after draft, because after the draft is ridiculous. So I'm just going to talk about it pre-draft. Sal's pick is going to be bad. Coop's pick is going to be bad. 3 second-round picks and Scottie Pippen. It's about equal. If I'm Freddie, I try to move Sal's pick and Coop's pick for a player that's going to be going up rather than 2 picks that are going to be slowly becoming worse as teams start to get towards the 2027 season. It's just okay. I don't think I like this for Freddie though. I'm trying to evaluate, like, you'll have to forgive me when I evaluate these. A lot of times it sounds like I'm just going back and forth, like I can't make up my mind. I don't review these trades until now. Like these are just the first takes that I'm getting because I want to be as honest as I can be with them. Like I'm not bringing in bias or any kind of weird like preference. Like this is just my first take at the trade itself. I think it's I would prefer 1.10. Like if I was trading right now to get into the draft, I would want 1.10 rather than that package for 1.10. That's just me. I would not have drafted Nate Ament at 1.10. There were so many better players. So that part I definitely don't like. But besides that, it's fine. Kanan wins this trade though, for sure. All right, so oh man, this is kind of crazy. So RJ Barrett and 1.06 for Pascal Siakam and 1.08. It's tough because I know who both of these picks ended up being. So I believe Darius Acuff went at 5 in our draft, which is kind of crazy, actually. Keaton Wagler went 6th. I really wanted him, actually. I'm just full transparency. I wanted Keaton Wagler, but I just couldn't get 1.06. 1.08 ended up being Michael Brown, so it's Michael Brown and Siakam for RJ Barrett. This is an even trade for me. I think Keaton Wagler has a higher ceiling than Michael Brown, but Siakam definitely is a lot better than RJ Barrett. I think I would maybe lean Slayer, actually, because Michael Brown is very, very similar to Keaton Wagler, and his opportunity is the same, if not better. So I don't know. It kind of depends if RJ Barrett maintains this pace and if Siakam doesn't just fall off because of age. So I think I'd lean Slayer here, just because the pick difference is kind of the same. And yeah, I think that it's probably pretty even. Probably the Slayer though, so probably a B. It's a good trade though. Another trade with Josh. So we have Marcus Smart, Precious Achiuwa, 1.16, and 1 first round pick from Atlanta in 2028 for CJ McCollum, RJ Barrett, and a second round pick. Yeah, this is fair. This is fair. Atlanta Hawks, he needed some like win now pieces. CJ McCollum, RJ Barrett, those are those pieces for sure. He didn't really have a need to draft at 1.16. I kind of wish he hadn't given up another first round pick. I think he might have needed to keep that. But it's fine. It's a good trade. This is an A. It's a very fair trade, and it meets both of their needs, especially as Josh is trying to go into this like pseudo rebuild for like a year while he like slowly gets prepped to contend next year. And when he does, like the league is over. So good trade. Yes, this is actually probably the biggest trade that I'll be reviewing. Alperen Sengun has moved for Karis LeVert, Jalen Green, Maxime Reynaud, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks. Now, I like this for Sonic. I know a lot of people were saying that Ali just wins immediately. I disagree. I have to be a little bit, I'm not 100% biased for this trade, but I actually did play a part in this trade as I was advising one of the sides on whether to take this deal or not. I think Jalen Green is going to have a pretty good resurgence. Maxime Reynaud, I think that he showed really great promise, and especially if Sabonis gets moved, Maxime Reynaud is about to shoot up in value. I think Ali's pick in 2027 is probably going to be a lottery pick. And I think 2028, it's very feasible that he'll want that pick back. So trading it back to him and getting more assets could definitely be something that you see in the future. I also am not overly high on Sengun. Now, Jalen Green doesn't have to have a resurgence. Maxime Reynaud may just be Maxime Reynaud. His first might not be good. I think you probably could have gotten more for Sengun. But for Sonic, who is trying to enter a rebuild, this was the perfect package. And he should have taken this deal every single time. So, good moves. I like all of this. Probably an A. I think it's fair for both sides. They both take on a good amount of risk. And yeah, it's hard to not like it. So, good deal. A couple of these trades I am going to, because I've seen a couple of them beforehand, and I am going to start just kind of going through them. Not too fast, but a little bit faster. Yegor Demin and 2 second round picks for Shaedon Sharpe. I'm a lot higher on Shaedon Sharpe than I am Yegor Demin, so in my mind, CB Steam wins this pretty easily, actually. I'd probably give this a B altogether. Yegor could turn into something. I don't really have high hopes for him. Josh got 1.08 for Sam Merrill. Jaime Jaquez 2.04, 2.05. My 27 first round pick and a second round pick. My pick is not going to be a lottery pick. I don't know if it'll be in the 20s or not, but it won't be a lottery pick. Jaime Jaquez is honestly the biggest part of it, and I think that almost convinces me that it's even. It's very good for TV because he needed this, and he'll flip my pick and a couple of these picks for another player that's more win now. So you can convince yourself that TVD is going to win something this year, and Josh needed 1.08 for his rebuild, so I kind of like it. Good move. 2 second round picks for Bronny James. I'm not going to spend any time on this. This is just fine. Santi Aldama for a first round pick and 2 second round picks. I actually think Santi should have gone for more. I think it's kind of tough because they're drafting Cam Boozer there, so he actually might even be worth less than this. I think this was a good sell now time for him while you're a little unsure of whether he's going to be better or worse. So probably a good move for Coop and a good move for Caden. You just kind of need to hope that Santi kind of rebounds and has a better year than he has in past. So we'll see. Also, it's kind of fun to see who sent the offer. Like, Caden sent this offer, and Coop saw the first round pick and was just like, yeah, I want that. Bronny for a second round pick. Fine. Caden ended up turning a profit off of him, if I remember correctly. Jared McCain for my first round pick and 2 second round picks. I love this for Caden. This is a good move for Caden. He should not move Jared McCain at all. He should wait to see what he becomes. I really think he's going to be a really great player. And he gave up my pick, which I think is, like I said, not going to be a lottery. So I think that's more than fine. Jared McCain's value is only going to go up. So all in all, solid trade. Definitely good for Caden, though. Oh, yes, this is the other really big trade that happened. Cade and Oso have been moved for basically Scotty and Stefan Castle. The only reason that Tim Hardaway was included was for salary cap, and I don't even care about Hardaway. He's fine. It's tough because I don't like 2-for-1s. I talk about this a lot in my You're a Bad Trader and I Can Prove It series, where you don't want to trade 2 stars for 1 because the overall fantasy output of them is not going to equal the scale of just the 1. That being said, Cade is going to be the number 5 for a very long time in the league. I think that he's going to be very, very good for a very, very long time. Stefan Kessel has questions about his development, so that is kind of a concern. Oso, I think, is also a little underrated. I definitely think he could be a very good center for the Phoenix Suns in the future, so who knows about that specifically, but personally, I'd probably... it's tough. It's an even trade. Value-wise, it's probably even. It's a lot. I think I like Mel's side since he's trying to contend now, and I like Josh's side since he's building like the core of a lifetime. I like everybody's side on this. Honestly, I think it's a good trade. So an A all around. 1.18 and a second for Emmanuel Quickly. You got to remember Emmanuel Quickly's on a much better contract, so I actually think I would have kept Emmanuel here. Yeah, I would have kept Emmanuel for sure. Only 1.18. If we're talking about like the 1.14 or 13, even that I'd be more willing to do. But I think that's good for Slayer for sure. So probably a B. Norman Powell, Brandon Williams, and a first for Darius Garland. Yes. I love this for Sal buying low on an asset because Darius Garland should be much better. He's been injured. He shouldn't be a top 90 asset. He should probably be top 60. So I kind of think this was a really good buy low moment. And I'd love to see it. I really do, because these buy lows are what make bad teams better teams and good teams great teams. So good buy low. It's a really good bet. Hopefully he stays healthy. If he does, this is an easy win for Sal. But both teams get pretty good value. All right, we got T getting Derek Lively in a first-round pick for Onyeka Okongwu. This is a fleece by TVD, an absolute fleece by TVD. Double O is going to be the starting center at Atlanta for a while. Derek Lively, there are so many questions around him. I wouldn't want to keep him personally. And TVD's first is not going to be good. So, yeah, this was a easy fleece in my mind. All right, T got Brandon Miller for Scottie Pippen, Bub, and 2 firsts. This was a fleece. I'm glad that he's fleecing people and also getting fleeced, because Brandon Miller is worth so much more than basically 3 first-round picks. Bub, like I said, I think he's going to fall out of the rotation. Scottie Pippen is fine, but he's bottom of the bench depth. Those picks aren't going to be great. It's not great. It's really not great. I'd probably give this a C. Probably a C, because I think Brandon Miller's just so much better than the other assets he's getting back. So, yeah, an easy loss for Caden. Good move for T. So, 1.18 and a second for Emmanuel Quickly. This is a fleece by TVD, an absolute fleece by TVD. Double O is going to be the starting center at Atlanta for a while. Derek Lively, there are so many questions around him. I wouldn't want to keep him personally. And TVD's first is not going to be good. So, yeah, an easy loss for Caden. Good move for T. Caden got Emmanuel Quickly, Ryan Dunn, 4 second-round picks, and 2 first-round picks for Jabari Smith and Colin Murray Boyles. It's kind of tough. Now, don't get me wrong. Sap wins this. Sapai wins this trade for sure. Young talent, good rookie. I mean, this is a win in my mind, like very, very easily. Not by much. I think Caden probably needed 1 to 2 firsts. Like, even if it was just one more first round pick, I could convince myself that this is fair. Jabari Smith is probably worth 2.5. Colin Murray Boyles is probably worth 3. I think there's around 4 firsts of value on Caden's side, and 5 to 6 on Sapai's, so like it's not overly crazy. But Caden loses this for sure. The value of Colin Murray Boyles and Jabari Smith is just so underrated right now. So it's a loss for Caden for sure, just not too crazy. So hopefully he can rebound. Yes. Okay, this was an interesting trade. Jim gave up Drake Powell, Bub, Onyeka Okongwu, and a first-round pick. His own first-round pick. I think that was the only mistake he made in this trade, and got Alex Sark. I think Alex Sark's going to be so good. He got a late first. That equals Drake Powell to me, honestly. Drake Powell, I think, is not very good. Bub, I think, is also not very good. And Double O, I think he's fine. I don't think he's going to be a top 30 asset, but I think he could be top 40. Alex Sarr, though, his ceiling is not hit yet, and if he stays healthy, I think he's going to be very, very good. So I definitely think this is a win for Jim. Not by too much, but by a little for sure. Josh moves Sadiq Bey for Jay Huff, Rob, and 2.06. Fine. Just getting some depth for a guy that's kind of hovering around the 100 range. So it's a fine move. I like it. Pretty good. Caden getting Jalen Williams and Brandon Miller for G.G. Jackson, R.J. Barrett, and 2 first-round picks. The really big thing, though, is Caden's first-round pick getting moved. That's the only thing that I would be hesitant to move in this trade, but this is a fair trade for sure. Yeah, I think Slayer loses this, not by much though. I also don't think G.G. Jackson is like the guy that I would personally be wanting to trade for. And Josh's first round pick is just not going to be good though. So realistically, Caden wins this pretty handily. Yeah, I don't think that there's much good stuff that Slayer's getting back there besides Caden's first round pick. So probably a win for Caden. Oh yeah, so Josh sent off SGA for CJ McCollum and Scotty Barnes. I actually think he could have gotten more. Yeah, he could have gotten more. I think, remember the 2-for-1, but the reason this isn't a true 2-for-1 is because CJ McCollum is an aging star that's, I mean, let's be honest, his production is about to fall off, and because of that, I don't really see a reason to be overly hard on the fact that he gave up SGA for basically a younger all-star that's up and coming. I would have rather had SGA. I would have rather had SGA than Scotty. And CJ McCollum is kind of just a guy that you brought in for salary. So, yeah, I think Coop wins this for sure. Ooh, yes, this is a big one that I did want to talk about. So, Sapai traded away Onyeka Okongwu and Denny Avdija for Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Devin Vassell, and 2 second-round picks. Jaylen Brown's definitely better than Denny, and he makes up a little bit of Onyeka's value. I think this is I think this is kind of fair. I actually think I would prefer what is Jim though, because there's more star power there. Yeah, it's it's similar to the 2-for-1 principle where you don't want to trade away too many of your good players to like equal like 1 star for 2 stars. 2 stars always wins that. And Onyeka and Denny, they're both a star. Jaylen Brown is a star. I don't really see Peyton Pritchard and Devin Vassell equaling the production of either of those guys combined. So I have to give this to Jim. I think Jim really wins this. I think it's very easy to see why. And I think if those were 2 first-round picks or 1 first-round pick, would have been much happier with this trade. But as it stands, I don't want bottom of the bench, or I don't want depth pieces for half of Double O's value. So it's just okay. So Allie just decided he was going to wake up and get fleeced. I don't know how this trade got passed. I would have vetoed this in a heartbeat. 1.04 was traded for 1.12 and Peyton Pritchard. That's insanity. What's insane is Sabai sent this trade. Ali could have declined this. And instead he saw that and was just like, ooh, now I can have Peyton Pritchard on my team instead of Caleb Wilson. I don't understand this at all. This is an F trade. Sabai, it clearly wins this. This is like the only massive fleece I've seen out of these trades so far, but I mean, this was abysmal. This should have been vetoed. I can't believe that it wasn't. T traded away Isaiah Jackson, AJ Mitchell, 1.19, and a second-round pick for Shaden Sharp. And basically a whole lot of nonsense. I love AJ Mitchell. I really do. I think that Dan probably wins this because of AJ, especially because he got 1.19 too. Especially since T later moved Shaden Sharp for Yegor Demin. This just isn't good. It's just not good. So, I think Dan wins this. And not by too much, because Shaden Sharp is underrated for sure. But, yeah, I don't like that. I can't like that trade. I think Dan wins that. And I think he wins it a little too easily, too. So, a loss for T for sure. All right. DeAndre Hunter and 4 seconds for Mikey's 2028 pick. That pick could be really, really good though, so I kind of wouldn't have done that if I was Mikey, because Mikey seems so old and broken. They could be really, really good then. And Slayer definitely could have a very good pick in 2028 if he keeps it. So I kind of like that for Slayer. Probably an A. It's fair. Just I like Slayer's side better. Benedict Mathurin for a 2028 from Odin. Ben Seraph and 2 seconds. Or 1.29 and a second round pick. I just don't like Ben Seraph. I don't. I think Mathurin is probably more worthwhile, especially on the Clippers. I think he's a really good player. So yeah, I would probably pick Josh's side on that one. Not by too much, but for sure by a little. AJ Black, Anthony Black, Cedric Coward, 1.11, who ended up being Ademara for Devin Booker. T gets Ivica Zubac, and Coop traded away Ivica Zubac, Anthony Black, and 1.11 for Devin Booker. Dear God. I'm not going to lie. Neither T nor Potatoes really fleeced anybody. Well, Potatoes fleeced Coop. Yeah, everybody wins but Coop. Coop just loses. I don't know why you would give up the worst pick and then take an aging Devin Booker and send away two potential All-Stars. I can't justify that. I'm not even going to try to. This is just a bad trade. Coop loses pretty easily. Good for tea and good for potatoes. I don't really have anything else to say. So F trade for Coop, A trade for tea and potatoes. So good job. Okay, Coop traded away Harden, and he got Jalen Suggs and 2 second-round picks and a first. Sapai got a first-round pick and Emmanuel Quickly, and he sent away De'Aaron Fox. Sal is the real moneymaker here. He got 2 first-round picks, Jalen Suggs and Emmanuel Quickly for James Harden and De'Aaron Fox. With all the James Harden stuff going on, I have to call this a win for him just because you have no idea. You've got no idea what's going to happen. I also love that Sapai is the one that sent this trade. And I kind of don't like his side. De'Aaron Fox is better than Emmanuel Quickly. With the new contract structure, he also doesn't make too much more. Like, it's kind of just okay. Coop definitely does well in this trade as well. Oh, shoot. Never mind. Sal loses this. I don't know why I was thinking that Sal was sending away Harden. I wouldn't want to be receiving Harden in this trade at all, especially not for Jalen Suggs, 2 first-round picks, and Emmanuel Quickly. De'Aaron Fox is the best part that Sal's getting in. I don't think that he's worth Jalen Suggs in a first. So, yeah, I think he loses this trade, actually. Sal loses this. And it's just because you don't know what James Harden is going to do, especially as old as he is. So, golly. Okay, bad trade for Sal, good trade for Sap, good trade for Coop. Derek White for Aaron Gordon and a first. Okay. Kind of a good trade. Derek White could fall off, though, so I kind of am unsure of that. But with as injury prone as Aaron Gordon has become, and Odin's 27 first being probably not good, I take Odin's side on this. I think that's a very good deal for him. Paul George, Jaron McCain for Kevin Porter. People sleep on Kevin Porter so much. He could be a top 30 fantasy asset next year and make every trade he's ever been in look ridiculous, which I hope he does. For right now, I will lean the side of injury history and youth. I think Jared McCain is actually the selling factor. I think Paul George and Kevin Porter are probably equal-ish. It's the fact that Jared McCain is in that deal too. I think that clearly slants towards Josh. Yeah. Probably Josh wins that, but not by much if he stays healthy. Okay, so this is when Sonic originally got Sengun. Slayer. Oh, that's right. Sonic sent 3 second-round picks, his first-round pick, 1.15, 1.06, 1.06, Zachary Richese, and Danny Wolf. I think Danny Wolf's value is going up right now. 1.06 clearly went up since that became Keaton Wagler. 1.15 is a good first-round pick, and Sonic's first-round pick is going to be pretty good. That was a mistake. I think if he hadn't included his first, it would have been more fair. Wow. A little bit of a Slayer fleece. Not by too much. He got a good return later, but still, it was just too much giving up. So probably a B, probably a C, because Slayer kind of fleeced him. Oh, yeah. Freddie got Bam for Jaren Jackson and Emmanuel Quickly. This is similar to a 2-for-1, although I don't really see Emmanuel and Jackson as stars, and Bam definitely is. I kind of like this for Freddie, although this is exactly the kind of trade that Sal needed to fill out his roster more. So in my mind, this is much more a team-building move rather than a value move, which as you all well know, I love team building moves. So good trade for sure. Yeah, I think this is even. This is fair. Even, maybe not. I definitely would leave Freddie value-wise. But as far as the needs of the team go, Sal got what he needed. So, good trade. Coop traded Jacopoto and Julius Randle for Double O. Coop is in win now mode, so I definitely like that he got Julius Randle, especially since he went to Brooklyn. So he's going to eat there, maybe be a really top fantasy asset. Jacopoto is just, I wouldn't take on that money. So I actually think that's the only bad part of this deal. Sapai gets younger. You could even debate better with getting him. So I like that too. We'll just kind of see what happens in the future with that, but it's even for right now, so that's an A. This is the last trade. Okay, wow. Okay, then let's spend just a little extra time on this. So Jalen Duren for Domantas Sabonis, Obi Toppin, and 2 second-round picks. So we'll call Obi Toppin another 2 second-round picks for simplicity's sake, and then we'll just wipe all the second-round picks off the board because I want to talk about Jalen Duren for a second. Is he going to be an All-NBA player? Maybe. Is Sabonis going to turn back into the triple-double machine that he used to be? Maybe. He's been a little injury prone more recently, but he used to be a top 10 fantasy asset. People don't remember that. He used to be a top 10 fantasy asset, and he can still give you those numbers. Jalen Duren, his ceiling, I don't think his ceiling is there. I actually am a little low on Jalen Duren. He's young, he's an all-star, he's all-NBA. I don't see him holding on to that. Sabonis could very easily return to that form of giving you a triple-double every other week and giving you a 40-plus fantasy point game every week. So for those reasons, I'm probably going to lean towards Sal, especially since Sal got a lot of the depth pieces. Obi Toppin, 2.09, and a second-round pick. I like all of those as well. So honestly, I got to go Sal on this trade. It's even. Value-wise, it's probably even. So I give it an A. But I think Sal is going to be the sneaky winner of this trade, and we're all going to look back at this trade in 3 months and going to be like, oh my goodness, how on earth did Jalen Duren go for Sabonis? Sabonis is so much better. Yeah, that happens. And we will see if that ends up happening in the future. But for right now, we just don't know. So anyway, that was all 47 trades. It actually went by a lot faster than I thought it would. Thank God, because I'm exhausted still. Just a little bit of update about the channel moving forward. We are going to start moving on with a couple different mini-series, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm going to be attempting to trade a first-round pick into 3 first-round picks in a series that I'm going to be doing here soon. I don't know 100% when it will start. And then we're going to be doing another series that is going to be reviewing different trades and different players and giving them an approximate value. Not sure when that one's going to start either. First, I have to wrap up the You're a Bad Trader and I Can Prove It series. And then, of course, there are a few other videos that are going to be coming out. My review of the draft and then my top 100 fantasy assets moving forward. Both of those videos will be coming out within the next 2-ish weeks. The draft review should be next week, assuming we have the draft finished by Sunday, which I'm not 100% sure if we will or not. So just stay posted for those. But as far as that goes, I believe that's everything for today. I know this video was like super long and only because of trades. But that's what happens when you have 47 trades. I don't have a whole lot of time to get to other stuff because the Poseidon Show is usually only about an hour, and I'm not about to go to an hour and a half today because I am still feeling a little under the weather. So God bless. Have a very good day, and happy trading, guys.